Hey there folks, this is GreenXI welcoming you right back to Let's Play Umineko. This is episode 47. In the last episode, or recently, Eva figured out the epitaph of the riddle of the epitaph, and she has become the Golden Witch, the new Golden Witch. Beatrice has passed down her sort of lineage that she's had for the last 1,000 years, and now Eva is the new witch. Still known as Beatrice. The name gets passed down as well as a sort of title more than anything, I think. So, let's see where it goes from there now that it's been solved. This could get interesting. Rosa returned to the lobby. It was still her turn to rest, but her expression made it look as though she couldn't sleep deeply with all this tension. Take it easy and lie down. Keep this up and you'll have it pretty rough later on. Thanks for the concern. I just couldn't fall asleep. I've already taken a shower, so I'm good for now. The next person can rest. What about you two, Kirie-san? Rudolph-san? What will we do, Rudolph-san? Should we rest? You can rest. I'll stay awake. That's the only manly thing I can do right now. Then I'll stay awake. Staying awake with my husband is the only womanly thing I can do right now. You two truly are close. You should talk. It seems Eva and Hideyoshi-san are out cold. It appears that, unlike Rosa, they can't fight against their age. As though in response to those words, the door to the hall clunked open. Eva and Hideyoshi returned from the guest room. That's none of your business. Oh, Rosa, you sure you don't need to rest yet? You should talk, Nissan. Why not take it easy and sleep? I just can't get to sleep. Taking a shower shook my drowsiness off. Rudolph, Kirie-san, you can rest if you want. None of them want to go to sleep. Sure, thanks. Well, for now, let's say I appreciate the sentiment. Why don't you go first, Aniki? How kind of you. But I cannot rest first. That's the most I can do as the oldest brother right now. Do not worry, the two of us will stay awake until the very end. More importantly, Eva-Nissan, you okay? You look a little pale. Come to think of it, you're right. Could it be a bit of a fever? Hideyoshi put his hand up against Eva's forehead. It seemed that Eva wasn't feeling her best. That goes without saying. That's what happens when you break your sleep cycle at your age. Is it a cold? Natsui-san? Natsui? Could you call Dr. Nanjo down? Yes. I'm fine, you don't have to make such a fuss over it. I have some medicine, so I'll be okay. I tend to get fevers when I'm tired. Don't worry. Nissan, take it easy, okay? Thank you. If the siblings gathered without me around, I get the feeling everyone would start talking behind my back. It's a persecution complex from years ago. Long ago. Sorry, okay? Well, I won't say anything. As if I'd say bad things about you behind your back, Nissan. What is it? Nissan, you've been acting strange for a while. Shouldn't you get a little rest now? You're right. Just thinking about... raising money by March. Makes my headache hurt even more. That isn't good. Rest. And I'll hold back too, so that your headache doesn't get worse. I've had a bad headache myself for a while now. Thank you. Well then, I'll take those words to heart and rest for a while. And then normally Natsui, who has all the headaches. What is it, Eva? Why so angry all of a sudden? Sorry, please let's rest a little bit longer. Sorry. After apologising several times as though praying, Hideyoshi followed Eva out to the lobby. I don't like this atmosphere. It's all so strained. That's no surprise. There was a murder early this morning. And since then, we've been eating canned food and carrying guns around. It's natural that we'd start to build up stress. I wonder if the kids up there are building up stress too. I'm worried about Maria. She tends to throw tantrums at times like this. Yeah, it's funny, this arc won't be much about the kids at all, have it? It's barely shown them, really. At that moment, they heard the sound of wild footsteps coming from the second floor. The guest house wasn't a cheap building, so they wouldn't normally have heard the sound of footsteps. It was like the sound of someone stamping their feet in frustration. And an instant later, accompanied by what seemed to be the sound of her running out into the second floor hallway, they could hear Maria calling, "Ooh, ooh, ooh," over and over again, sounding displeased. Rosa grabbed her head, her hair flying, and she voicelessly moaned in anguish. The adults conscientiously turned their backs to her, pretending not to notice. The noisy clamour came down from the second floor and flew into the lobby. It was Maria, who was sobbing, along with the other children and Nandro. In other words, they had all come downstairs because of Maria's tantrum. Rosa couldn't hide her dizziness at this new annoyance her daughter was bringing to everyone. Sorry, Aunt Rosa. We tried to calm her, but she just wouldn't listen. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah. What is it, Maria? Could you be a little more quiet? Everyone's watching. It's that Rose of hers from the rose garden. She suddenly started saying that she was worried about it. I think she's half asleep. She suddenly woke up and started going on about how worried she was about that rose. Maria-chan, calm down. That was just a dream. Oh, that rose belonged to Beatrice and me. So if I don't take care of it, Beatrice is going to get mad. It might get snapped off again. I'm telling you to quiet down a bit, okay? The sudden rise in the tone of Rosa's voice surprised the children. But Maria's crying just grew louder, and her tantrum just grew fiercer. Rosa-san, you mustn't scold a child so unsparingly. At times like this, it's best to give them some warm milk or something. Is there any here? The milk we just had for breakfast is empty now. Doesn't anyone have a sedative to use on kids? You know, those silver pill things? I have some. Yes, I'll search for some now and give them to her. Without hiding her displeasure, Rosa grabbed the handbag that had been set on the sofa and fished around for some medicine. It seemed she had brought some child-use sedatives from Maria's tantrums. She found it and opened the bottle, but it must have been empty. Irritated, Rosa shook the bottle several times, but that didn't change the fact that nothing was in there. As she did that, Maria's crying grew even more intense. At that time, Eva was lying on her bed, covered by the bedding. Hideyoshi returned from the washroom, folding a handkerchief soaked in water. Ooh, this is one nasty fever. I'll bet it's the poisonous air at this family conference that got you. For now, you can forget all about the other relatives, okay? As Hideyoshi spoke to her kindly, he set the soaked handkerchief on Eva's burning forehead. Eva rested her own hand on top of his. Your hand feels nice and cool. If my hand feels nice, your fever must be pretty bad. Don't worry, the medicine will start working soon. Plus my hand's a magic hand. I just put it against your forehead like this, and any fever will melt right away. You're right. Your hand always makes my fevers fade. Yep. No need for a doctor when you got my hand. Don't worry and close your eyes. My magic will make that fever fade away. Yes, I know. I can feel your magic. Hideyoshi was about to say it was just a placebo effect, but he stopped. If Eva said she could feel magic coming from his hand, then that was fine for now. I wonder if magic really exists. It does. Only those who believe can tell, though. There's actually a lot of magic like that out there in the world. If magic actually exists, then I wonder if witches actually exist too. You mean that witch of the forest, Beatrice? She probably does exist for those who believe. Just like the gods. They don't show themselves except in front of those with strong faith. I did it too, you know. Long ago I was able to use magic. Oh? Really? Then you were a witch too? I had dreams that I wanted to come true, no matter what. After wishing strongly and trying hard, they always came true without fail. With my magic, my grades were always the best, and I even became the student council president, and worked hard to get into the university I wanted. Everything I wished for was granted. That's right. Your magic was always a thing to be reckoned with. You're definitely a witch. And you work harder than anyone. I know all about it. When I was a kid, the whole time, there was another me inside myself who always supported me. And that other self was a witch. I didn't believe in Beatrice, the witch of the forest. I always believed that if a witch of Rockinjima did exist, it was the witch inside my heart. I was so grateful to that witch inside myself. I was always grateful that she brought me to you. You get too timid when you're sick. Don't say anything for now. I'll stay like this the whole time until your fever's gone down. Yes, don't take your hand away, no matter what. Somehow, I feel like I'm becoming something that isn't myself, and I've been scared for a while now. I get the feeling that the witch inside me was provoked by Beatrice and is growing stronger and stronger. Somehow it feels like she's going to swallow me whole. It's okay. As long as I'm with you, there's nothing to be afraid of. Remember the time we went to that dangerous country and the whole bus got robbed? I drove them off. Didn't you just hand over your gold watch and beg them to go away? It was pretty lame, but it was cool. Don't move your hand away, no matter what. Not even if I fall asleep. And if something creepy sneaks in here, protect me. Yep, leave it to me. That's why I'm telling you to stop worrying and get to sleep. Because the medicine at my magics will start working real soon. Eva finally calmed her heart and closed her eyes. Wow, a nice sight to Eva. At that time, there was the sound of a door being opened violently from the direction of the lobby. It seemed that Maria was having a tantrum, and screams of "ooh, ooh" could be heard, along with Rosa's rebuking yells. That probably hurt Eva's ears. Or maybe it was giving her a headache. Eva moaned as though in pain, and buried herself in the covers. It was easy to guess what was happening. Maria had probably had a tantrum for some reason, gone down to the lobby, and started arguing with Rosa, who then scolded her daughter. And then maybe that got too embarrassing to be shown in front of the other relatives, so Rosa had taken Maria out into the corridor. Hideyoshi had no desire to butt in on Rosa and Maria's problem. But just for now, since Eva's condition was so bad, he wanted them to take their ruckus somewhere else. Wait just a sec. I'll ask them to keep it down. Come back quickly. Don't worry, I won't leave this room. Hideyoshi removed the chain, opened the door, and stuck his face out into the corridor. He immediately met Rosa's gaze. Everything okay, Rosa-san? I'm sorry. Did all this noise wake you? Ooh, ooh. Oh, 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 oh. Maria-chan, sorry. Aunt Eva isn't feeling well, and she's trying to sleep. Could you quiet down a bit? Maria's tone didn't change after Hideyoshi's request. She kept crying, ooh, ooh, and repeating, my rose, my rose. Rosa slapped Maria's cheek, lifted her up while covering her mouth, and dragged her towards the entrance, trying to at least put some distance between her and Hideyoshi's room. She would still probably be noisy for a while, but he had warned Rosa for the time being. Relying on Rosa's actions as a mother, Hideyoshi closed the door. Is Maria-chan having a tantrum again? Looks like it. It's tough for Rosa-san too. Come to think of it, our George is almost too good to be true. We should be grateful. You're right. Hand. Oh, sorry. Look, it's the magic hand. He put his hand on Eva's forehead again. Maybe there really was magical power in that hand. A truly peaceful look rose to Eva's face, and bit by bit she began to drift off into the land of sleep. As he had promised, Hideyoshi kept his hand on her forehead. Ah. See, she can be nice. It just takes a massive fever to do it. By the entrance, with her hand still against Maria's mouth, Rosa was at a loss of what to do next. She hadn't been able to withstand everyone's gazes in the lobby, and had yelled at the children to go upstairs, dashing out to the lobby. Then she had gone out into the corridor, only to have Hideyoshi say that she was too noisy. Where should I go now? Where should I take this child who's having a tantrum? She felt as though tears of frustration were about to come out. As Maria kept struggling in an attempt to scream, Rosa put her mouth up to Maria's ear and tried to persuade Maria in a properly calm voice. Maria, do you really want to see the rose that much? Maria nodded her head several times, moaning, ooh, ooh. Why do you want to see it so much? I'll listen as your mother, so will you tell me quietly? I'll hit you if you scream. Oh, God. My rose. Beatrice revived it. He might have snapped off again. I'm worried about that. I can't sleep until I'm sure. Apparently she was still upset about that marked rose from yesterday. Rosa felt her headache throbbing again, but she was at least a little relieved that Maria had now stopped her screaming. Anyway, everyone's having a hard time right now, so don't bother Mama and everyone else. You can worry about that rose all you want tomorrow, when it stops raining. So for now, listen to me. No. It's my Beatrice's rose. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Rosa reflexively covered Maria's mouth. She had spoken a little too harshly and gotten her agitated again. Rosa realised that it was partly her own fault and clicked her tongue in self-hatred. But Maria thought that was directed at her, and her crying grew even fiercer. Please, just be quiet. What can I do to make you stop crying? What should I do to make you listen to what your mama says? Suddenly, Maria stopped crying so fast that it seemed unnatural. Then she turned around and muttered, If I get to see my rose, I'll stay quiet until tomorrow. Really? Yes. If we go to the rose garden and see my rose, I'll calm down. I mean it, Mama. Okay, so out they go in. If we would keep Maria quiet for the time being, Rosa thought that even going out into this wind and rain would be a small price to pay. She thought it might be a bit reckless, but in the end, no murder or anything of the sort had actually occurred. All that clamour since this morning had been a farce set up by Kinzo. If you carefully thought about that chain of closed rooms, it clearly had to all be an act. Will you really listen if you get to see the rose? Yes. I mean it, Mama. Kiki. Oh, the creepy laugh is started. Rosa didn't overlook that creepy laugh, and lightly hit Maria with her fist. And she shrugged, as though giving up. Understood. If it's just one look, then I'll agree. Will that work? Yes, Mama. I promise. Oh. Once again, Rosa tested the weight of her gun. It'll be okay. It's only an act. There was never a murderer on the island in the first place. Damn it. Wait, Aunt Rosa. Aren't Rosa and Maria the sacrifices for the second twilight? Damn it, damn it, damn it. Someone, notice them. Tell them to stop. What are those guys in the living room and us kids doing? Indeed. They are being considerate of Rosa's pitiful relationship with her daughter and are forcibly changing the subject. The group that includes you went up to the second floor and is talking about something else while watching TV. You bastards. Someone, notice them. Who's the closest? Is it Uncle Hideyoshi? Please notice that those two are leaving through the front door. It won't reach. It won't reach. Don't disturb their precious time together. Hideyoshi kept talking kindly, his hand on Eva's forehead. He didn't notice at all that Rosa and Maria were going outside through the front door. In that case, there was no way the others in the lobby, which was even further away, would notice. Much less those in the cousin room on the second floor. Why are you so panicked? Didn't you defeat me with that bold move saying that the culprit died in an accident on the first twilight? Doesn't that mean there's no longer a culprit on this island? What is there to be worried about? Shut up, I can see right through you. Someone stop them. Those two will be killed. Someone, stop them. Oh, but will they be killed? There was no way the battler's voiceless scream would reach Rosa or Maria. The two of them could be seen in the rose garden. The rain was still awful, but fortunately, the wind had died down a little. No, maybe that wasn't fortunate. Because maybe, if the wind had been a little fiercer, Rosa might have hesitated to go outside. Ooh. Here it is! Maria found her rose with the gold lace and stared at it lovingly. Rosa had accepted the promise under the condition that Maria would only get one look at it, but she didn't want Maria to complain that it hadn't been enough later on, so she decided to go along with Maria until she was satisfied. She believed that there wasn't a culprit, but on the off chance that she was mistaken, they were now in an extremely dangerous position. Rosa realised that faintly herself. If things got bad, she would throw away her umbrella and ready her gun. After glancing at Maria's innocent happiness, Rosa gazed warily in all directions. Uh-oh. Here come the butterflies. Were her eyes just tired? Even though no one should have been there, she thought she saw something glitter in the dark rose garden. Gold-coloured. It had to be her imagination. Because, to Rosa, it seemed as though gold butterflies were dancing through the rose bushes. You okay, Eva? Just take it easy. Should I call Dr. Nandro after all? I'm fine. Don't take your hand away. I'm begging you, don't take your hand away. Eva was breathing wildly. Beads of sweat were appearing on her forehead. It certainly was true that she had stayed up all night last night, and that things had been rough since early this morning. It wasn't odd that her body wasn't keeping up. Even though he understood that, Hideyoshi suspected that this sudden fever was a sign of some serious illness. Several times, Hideyoshi decided to call for Dr. Nandro, but Eva resisted firmly, pleading with him and saying that it was even more important that he didn't take his hand away. I understand. But you've got to have Dr. Nandro look at you by lunchtime. If you can promise me that, I'll stay here the whole time, gripping your hand. Tightly like this. Thank you. I'm fine. The magic of your hand will definitely take this fever away. Even if she said that, Eva's harsh breathing didn't improve in the slightest. Don't let go. Don't let go. Oh, she really is ill. Who is it? She saw an umbrella moving from beyond the rose bush. Rosa threw away her umbrella and wildly lifted her gun. When she did, the shadow of a person beyond the bush showed itself. Ooh, Aunt Eva. You scared me. It's you, Nissan? Do you have some business with me? Do you want to continue our earlier discussion? So Aunt Eva is in bed, you know, with the fever. Hideyoshi is proof of it. But here she is in the rose garden. Yes, that's right. Our discussion about father's gold. Please, restrain yourself in front of Maria. I will keep my promise, okay? I won't get in the way of your conspiracy. Conspiracy? What's that? Whatever you're thinking, that's up to you. I have no desire to get in the way. So please, not in front of Maria. As long as I get my share, that will be enough. Your share? Oh, witchy laugh. Eva started laughing in a creepy voice. Rosa was startled, but Maria stared blankly. Then Maria said just one thing. Oh? Auntie? Who are you? Your share? Who would give that to you? All that is mine. It all belongs to me, the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Wah. Eva, you okay, Eva? 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 Hold on. Don't let go. Don't let me be dragged away by someone who isn't me. Hold on to my hand. Don't let go. This is nice, always switching scenes like that. When did you ever work hard? You never worked hard for anything. You were always hiding in our shadows. You always escaped from shadow to shadow without fighting. And yet, you really think yourself qualified to make demands of me over the Ashuramaia family gold? All of that is mine. It's all mine alone, as the head of the Ashuramaia family and the new Golden Witch, successor to the name of Beatrice. Beatrice? It's Beatrice. Mama, Beatrice. Maria jumped at her mother in ecstasy. Rosa treated Maria cold-heartedly and raised her gun high. Hey, you're Nissan, right? You are Nissan, aren't you? Wrong. I'm no longer the one who is your sister. Then who are you? Are you trying to say that you're Beatrice? That's impossible. You died 19 years ago. Yes, you were definitely dead after all. I clearly saw how your head was split open. I can remember the insides flowing out like it was yesterday. How can you be alive and here right now? The concept of death does not exist to a Golden Witch. The Golden Witch and the name of Beatrice will be handed down for all eternity. Maybe the Beatrice you knew met with death, but that name is mine now. And therefore it's eternal. The concept of death does not exist for Beatrice. All I can see is that the gold has driven you mad. How pitiful, Nissan. Come on, you know I'm not your sister anymore. Well then, as the new Beatrice, I've been tasked with my own resurrection ceremony. Renovate? What should I do? That's up to you. You already have the power to make whatever you think reality. You should grow used to it once you've tried it out a little. You worthless former sister. You should consider it an honour to have been selected as the first sacrifice I offer as a witch. On the second twilight, I'll tear the two who are close apart with my own hands. See, normally, so far, I think it's been the two who are close have been lovers. They've been in a relationship. But this time, it's going to be mother and daughter. The first thing the new Beatrice wished for? No, the first magic she tried to use was to surpass the limitations given to humans. In particular, gravity. She wanted to become fully aware of her transformation into a witch by being released from those shackles. As the witch and Rosa stayed as they were, the ground retreated all by itself, into the distance below them. By now, their feet were no longer attached to the ground. Rosa finally realised that the earth wasn't retreating into the distance below them, but that she and the witch were being sucked up into the rainy sky. Huh? Eek? Whoa, awesome. Two seconds. Door. Okay, I'm back. For a human shackled to the ground by gravity, there's nothing more unnerving than having their feet stop sticking to the ground. However, to Beatrice, who, in becoming the new witch, had learned the joy of being released from gravity, it was enough to make her whole body shake with delight. Hey Rosa, do you remember, long ago, when we were small, when we used to talk about what it'd be like to become witches and fly around the sky? That dream has been granted, hasn't it? I became a real witch and granted it for you. Stop it. If this is a dream, then wake me up. You said it yourself. You said you flew through the sky in your dream. And you also said you didn't want to wake up. You even got mad at me when I woke you up, right? Don't worry. This time, you won't wake up, okay? Ever. Come, dance with me in the vast rainy sky. Didn't we both wish we could fly like seagulls in the sky? And escape the cramped and boring island of Rockinjima? Now I'll make that dream a reality for you. I only want to share this joy with you, and no one else. It's so fun, Rosa. It's so fun. Take a look below you. Look at how small our mansion is. I wonder how much time we spend in a place that small. Now I'm especially shocked at how cramped and tiny it is. So feel, enjoy, rejoice. That power we yearned for, the power to move through the sky at will. Come on, let's dance, Rosa. Through the rain, through the wind. Let's fly around like we're dancing. The lightning will shine on us and bless us. The witch and Rosa were like leaves fluttering around in a whirlwind. As the rain pounded upon every part of their bodies, as the lightning occasionally shone upon them, they shook with the joy of being released from the ground. However, it was only that way for the witch. Rosa was holding onto her head, voicelessly screaming over and over. Stop it! Forgive me! Let me down! You're right, it's more fitting for humans to crawl on the ground. Then why not go back there? A slightly displeased expression rose to the witch's face when she realised that her own joy was not being shared. Then she decided to listen to her former sister's request. The whirlwind that had been making Rosa dance around grew weaker, then stopped. In other words, Rosa was once again bound by the restrictions of gravity as a human. Following the laws that were originally correct, Rosa began to descend towards the ground, upside down. No, she began to fall. Oops. That's right, if I don't take her down the right way, this is what happens. The witch had intended to send Rosa plummeting, but she still wasn't used to using magic. After plummeting about 100 meters into a rose bush, as a very, very natural result, Rosa died instantly. But the witch hadn't intended to kill her, so she wished that Rosa hadn't died. When she did, gold butterflies coiled about Rosa's body, reviving that life just as the witch had wished. Rosa's body, which should have been spread out like a carpet of fresh blood, rapidly returned to normal. The broken and crushed bones returned to normal. The torn and smashed flesh returned to normal. How easy it is to break things in this world, and how difficult it is to fix them. Anyone can take a life, but no human can revive a lost life. By surpassing the irreversible, one proves that they have surpassed humanity. They surely gave her a much, much greater realization of her position as a witch than flying through the sky had. Awesome! I can even revive an ended life. Of course, Beatrice Hammer is the endless witch. To live and to die, to bring to life and to kill, all of it repeated endlessly. Beatrice Hammer, the endless witch, is the queen who controls the cycle of life and death. Aha! One time I knocked over a fish bowl. The fragile and beautiful bowl broke and I couldn't put it back together again. I'd never see that cute pop-eyed goldfish swim again after it landed on the floor. No matter how much I cried, the servants shook their heads, saying that broken things and dead things could never be revived. That's when I learned something. You must not break things, you must not kill people. After all, you can't fix them. So, if you can fix them, then you won't get in trouble for breaking them, right? Yeah, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. For a while, the witch became intoxicated with how terrible and wonderful the power she had inherited was. Her laugh was pure, innocent, and cruel. Ooh. Even though Rosa had been revived, she let out a cry of anguish at the pain from her fall. At that point, the witch landed and held out her hand. Sorry about that, Rosa. I didn't think flying in the sky would be so much fun. Sorry, I'm real sorry. And I didn't know humans could die so easily. But I brought you back to life, so we're even. So get up, okay? Play with me some more, okay? What were those dreams you told me about when you were a kid? Go ahead and tell me all of them without holding back. As I am now, I can make anything come true, no matter how absurd. Even drowning you in a sea of jelly. Even having you get sucked into a mountain of cake. I can even make you sprout butterfly wings and flit around the garden, okay? I'll do them one after another. Let's start with the ocean of jelly, alright? Stop it. Ugh. Rosa was once again thrown high into the rainy sky. However, the sky wasn't filled with raindrops, but with drops of orange juice. When she looked down, Rosa had to doubt her eyes. The rose garden had disappeared, and the ground spread out beneath her was like a pastel-coloured jigsaw puzzle. It was an ocean of jelly, like the one she had spoken of from her dreams when she was young. The black part was coffee jelly, the red was strawberry, the yellow was pineapple, and the green was melon. Black jelly, coffee jelly, I've never heard of that. What was the white part? Apple? Did Rosa even have the time to think stuff like that? Rosa fell towards that multicoloured ocean. And she sunk deep into a purple grape-flavoured sea. It really was an ocean of jelly. It had no bottom. As Rosa sank, she was shocked to see a school of transparent fish swimming through the grape jelly ocean. They were probably made of grape skin. Then she sank on and on, deeper and deeper, as deep as the Marianas Trench. Crushed by the water pressure of the jelly ocean, as her ribs snapped, as her spine snapped. In the end, she became a small, frail meatball. What a truly wonderful experience, to drown in an ocean of jelly. It's a dream no one else can imitate. I made it come true for you. The instant I snapped my fingers, the meatball that had been Rosa was launched up into the sky. And after being wrapped up in a golden sparkle, she returned to her original form. It was as simple and easy as returning dried seaweed to its original form, and anyone could do it. If they were a witch, that absent-minded look on Rosa's face has to be the joy from having that dream she gave up on as a child come true. Definitely. Probably. Next is the mountain of cake. In an instant the sky was covered and became black and white in the shape of a chessboard. That almost transparent white part was her favourite rare cheesecake. The elegant black part was a slightly bitter gâteau au chocolat. That became the ceiling, became a mountain, and several billion cakes were thrown down towards Rosa. If you piled those cakes up, they would surely be taller than Mount Everest. So they probably weighed. I'm not too sure. I bet it was heavier than all the cakes across Japan put together. That is heavy. It fell down like a ceiling and swallowed Rosa up. So as a very, very natural result, Rosa was crushed to death. In less than a second, her bones broke throughout her body and her insides were all smashed and forced out. Squish, pop, slop. Even so, an even greater number of cakes piled up on top, and Rosa ended up as a layer of jam wedged between them. She became as thin as a single hair and was probably spread out over the area of a tennis court. That world swallowed up by cake was once again absorbed by a gold flash. She's having fun. Then, as though it had all been a dream, Rosa was revived once again. Of course, it definitely wasn't a dream. She had been revived after dying. By that point, death, which most humans only have to experience once after they are born, had already been experienced repeatedly by Rosa. In other words, she had gone through that which humans cannot, the precious experience of dying more than once. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? Next is the butterflies. Look. Please have mercy. No way. Let's play more. Let's play more. Laughing innocently, she pointed her gold staff at Rosa as she begged for mercy. When she did, Rosa glittered gold and rapidly began to shrink. She shrank down to the size of a real butterfly. Then gold wings sprouted from her back and she joined her fellow gold butterflies. However, while a human body could withstand that wind, it was a different matter for a butterfly's body. The gold butterfly Rosa was invited to dance by each gale of wind as she spun in circles around the rose garden. No, no. As her dance wore her out, she was caught by a gentle bed. It was a soft, knit hammock in the shadows beneath the roof of the arbour. The owner of the hammock lumbered into view, welcoming its rare guest who had wandered in on the night of a storm. That owner, which should have been small enough to crush in the palm of your hand, now looked as big as the top of a canopy bed to Rosa. Yeah. What klutz? You got caught in a spider's web. This time it's a dance with a spider. That takes me back. Remember the times we'd find a spider's web and play around by throwing pebbles at it? I've heard that spiders don't chew their prey, but insert their venom, and when the insides melt into a sticky soup, they suck them out. Hey Rosa, remember? Remember how we'd throw butterflies into the spider's web on purpose and play around by seeing how spider would attack? Nice. I guess you don't remember, do you? This happened before you got into grade school. Make sure you watch closely this time, okay? Very closely. No! Have mercy, Nissan. Help me, Nissan. Eek. That is quite a violent one, to be fair. This girl's not bad. She truly can use magic at will. Amusing, amusing. How truly amusing. You feel like laughing too, right, Battler? Don't fuck with me. Stop it already. What's so fun? You're insane. You're insane. What's so fun about doing something like this? Doesn't she look like she's having a blast? What do you expect? Magic is fun. I remember when I first became able to use magic. I played around a lot. I understand. I understand that kind of game from the bottom of my heart. Looks like I won't be able to share this joy and passion with you, Battler. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. If you accept me, I'll teach you magic anytime you want, see? It's hard to describe the joy you receive in the instant you're freed from the shackles of humanity. I want to teach you about it, that joy, that passion. I'd definitely like to see the world of magic you'd give birth to, just once. Isn't it starting to get fun? You've started wanting to use magic, haven't you? It's pretty fun to be a witch, isn't it? Just for you, I'll teach everything. About the joy of flying together in the sky, about the joy of diving together through the sea. I want to show you the passion that starts the instant you surpass the bounds of humanity and see how wide your world stretches. Wouldn't that be fun? There was no malice in Beato's expression. It was hard to believe, but she was genuinely enjoying this cruel show, and she wanted to share that appreciation with Battler. Battler was shocked by that hopelessly different sense of values. You're insane. Stop it already, damn it. Virgilia, make them stop this insane farce. What should I do? We exist outside the board. We cannot touch the board itself. Virgilia shook her head, apologetically. Her body had already been killed. Did that mean she couldn't interfere in any way? As Beatrice continued to look amused in an insane sort of way, Battler lifted her up by the collar and yelled at her. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Quit messing around, witch. You trying to tell me that's Aunt Eva? That's impossible. The Aunt Eva I know might be a bit mean at times, but it's completely impossible that she's the kind of person who'd do something this cruel. This is all part of your deception. Don't toy with Aunt Rosa. Don't toy with Aunt Eva. Stop this farce right now. I told you, I'm not the one playing with Rosa anymore. Like I said, that's the new Beatrice. Is it really so terrible that you have to squeal like that? You're also pretty fond of stuff like this, aren't you? You actually have just a bit of interest in magic. And... ouch! What are you doing? For the first time, Battler slapped Beato's cheek. Beatrice didn't know why he had done something like that to her, and a surprised expression rose to her face. Battler especially couldn't forgive that expression, and he roared. Ah? You call this amusing? What's wrong with your head? Die! Go slice your head to bits and look inside. You'll see there's nothing there. Stop it right now. Stop this disgusting farce. I won't forgive you. How could you do something so cruel? I've sometimes thought you could be a bit funny, but I'll never make that mistake again. You're just a monster who's cruel on all levels. Don't show yourself in front of me. Never again. I won't accept you. I won't talk with you. I don't even want to look at your face. Did you hear me? Don't show yourself in front of me. Disappear. The instant Battler screamed, the power that resisted the witch became a red wall and knocked Beato back onto her butt. Ow, ow, ow. What are you talking about? Isn't it an interesting show? She spoke defensively, but the target of those words, Battler, was no longer there. His figure had suddenly disappeared into the darkness. But Beatrice looked displeased and continued trying to explain herself. It's not as though I'm completely blind to where you're coming from. This is nothing more than an innocent prank, isn't it? No matter how you kill them, they'll always be brought back to life in the end, right? I thought humans were creatures who say all's well that ends well. Hey, teacher, there was no reason for him to get so angry, right? She was hoping for approval, but Virgilia simply faced her with an indifferent expression. To beat her at that moment, even an exasperated look would probably have been better. I have nothing in particular to say. If you think this is fun, you can keep watching as long as you want. Call me when it's over. I'll vanish until then. Following Battler's lead, Virgilia vanished into the darkness. Beto, who was now completely isolated and didn't have a clue what was going on, felt that they were making her out to be the bad guy. What's wrong? Isn't it an amusing show? It might be a little vulgar, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? Hey, Ronave, it's nothing to get so mad about, right? Something interesting for you, milady, may not necessarily be interesting for Battler-sama. Does he really hate me that much? Well, certainly, we're enemies and opponents in this competition. But is our relationship really so bad that we can't laugh together at this display? Since I applauded together with Battler, I thought I could at least laugh together with him. Does he really reject me so much that we can't even do that? He doesn't have to accept that I'm a witch. We're challenging each other in this game after all. And yet he won't look at my face, he won't talk to me. And he'll probably do all he can to ignore me. Am I really hated that much? The moves you've made up to this point have been more than enough to earn his hatred. Even a demon such as myself can understand a bit of Battler-sama's feelings. Perhaps you cannot understand because you are especially thick-headed, milady. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Why don't you disappear too? Yes, certainly. Then, if you would excuse me. Even Ronave hid himself in the darkness, and Beatrice was left alone. The only one in the rainy rose garden. No one ever plays with a lonely witch, and the fact that no one ever does is what makes them a lonely witch. What's going on? Why won't anyone play with me? Am I really that weird? That cruel? Someone, answer me. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? Hey, how should we play next? Of course, we should play with Maria too, right? Let's all have a friendly walk together, okay? Let's swim in a pot of boiling chocolate. Let's have a picnic in a cake rising oven. Oh, she's coming to intervene. Hey, new Beatrice. Behind the witch that was continuing her mad banquet, Beto showed herself. That expression was very rare for her. It was somehow restrained, unreliable, miserable. Oh, it's the predecessor, Beatrice-sama. Were you watching? The power of magic is truly wonderful. Until now I never thought it'd be so fun to be reborn as a witch. It's like playtime that never ends. Come on, let's play together, Predecessor-sama. But first, wait for a second, okay? I cooked the two of them to death in an oven, so I have to revive them again. They're like bread rising from yeast. Like cookies expanding in an oven. Listen to what I'm saying. Well, isn't that enough for the sacrifice of the second twilight? Of course there are no rules regarding how you kill them, but, maybe you shouldn't toy with them any more than that. What are you saying, Predecessor-sama? I heard from Ronave a short while ago. Wasn't your magic much, much more wonderful, cruel, and crazy? That Halloween party where candies poured out of 6 people's stomachs was truly wonderful, so maybe I'll act out Alice's tea party, and invite everyone to a tea party in celebration of a completely pointless day, and entertain them one by one with my magic. I wonder if I can do it as wonderfully as you. I wonder if I can be cruel in my own pop, cute style. Now that I think about it, all fairy tales are cruel, aren't they? Now that I'm a witch inside one of those fairy tales, I finally understand. I've also, sometimes thought that, in the past, I might have gone a little too far. Well, I think that as the Golden Witch, it's probably best to show a little elegance. I don't get what you're saying, Princess-sama. But there's one thing I do understand. No matter how hard I try now, I'm no match for how cruel you are. I've got to try much, much harder. I've got to become more cruel and become an excellent Golden Witch. Like I said, you've already done enough here. Anyway, this is an order from me as your predecessor. That's enough for the second twilight. I'll show you how it's done. Stand back and watch. Yes, Predecessor-sama. I can't wait to see what brutal, cruel, and disgusting method of killing you use. The new witch grasped the sides of her skirt and gave a graceful bow. Stepping back as an expectant gaze rose to her face. She was expecting an even more cruel magic that surpassed even herself. Well, speaking of that, you're only half a witch if you can only kill with methods like that. I shall show you an elegant way to kill, worthy of the Golden Witch. When Beto waved her pipe, 7 colours of smoke poured out, reviving Rosa and Maria. Compared to how the new Beatrice had done it a short while ago, it was slightly gentler. It's probably gentler than how Beto had done it herself up until now. Rosa's consciousness had already grown dim from the pain of so many repeated deaths. But even so, she pleaded that her daughter be spared. Please, have mercy. Even if it's just Maria, have mercy. Wah, Mama, Mama. Sorry. My disciple just acted without restraint for a bit. Forgive me. Beatrice. When Maria realised it was the real Beatrice, she jumped onto her. You promised, right, Beto? You promised you'd take me to the Golden Land, right? There I'll be friendly with Mama, and everyone will laugh together. You promised you'd take me there, right? About that, I can no longer keep that promise. Because someone appeared who could solve the riddle. I'm no longer the Golden Witch, Beatrice. So sorry. I can no longer keep my promise with you. Why? Why? You promised. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. So at least in apology for not being able to keep my promise, I'll give you a quiet sleep that will never be disturbed again. Beto embraced Maria with a loving expression on her face. Then, softly, a red bruise appeared on Maria's neck. It was a very gentle bruise. Its redness grew bit by bit, and when it distinctly formed itself into the shape of a hand, Maria's neck tilted suddenly, peacefully as though she had fallen asleep. Maria! Maria! Sorry. I want to apologise that you were the sacrifices for the second twilight. That's simply your fate. However, I must apologise for the vulgar way in which you were offered as sacrifices. This is your final sleep. Never again will it be disturbed. Beto softly, gently, lifted her finger, as though touching the empty air in front of her nose. When she did, a light breeze lifted up, making Rosa's body dance lightly like a feather. Then Rosa's body floated softly, and right there was the garden fence with its spear-shaped prongs. The spear of the fence pierced Rosa's medulla oblongate? What's that? Benevolently, without toying with her, in a single blow, Rosa's life was snapped out. Compared to the earlier innocent yet cruel events, it seemed to be over much too fast. It just looked like a doll, shaped like Rosa, was leaning against the fence. But she had passed away. Is that part of the neck or the throat? Is that another name for that? Well, something like that should do the trick. Beto acted proud, but the new witch wore a blank expression, almost as though this was an anticlimax. Then she said it out loud. It's kind of plain. Not at all like the Princess Eva-Beatrice told me about. Well, you must use magic with dignity, right? If it's too undignified, that isn't very elegant. Even though you're lucky enough to have the magic to do wonderful things endlessly. How boring. Hey, don't complain. The path of the Golden Witch cannot be completed in a day. You're still incomplete until you finish the 10th twilight. For now, stay quiet and follow my instructions. Got it? What happened to your answer? Your answer? Sure. Very well, that'll do. Well, there's still much to do for the resurrection ceremony. You still have to kill 5 people. You should do it without toying with them too much, with beauty and dignity. And with at least a little restraint, okay? What Runaway told you about how I did it, that was a bad example. You mustn't use that as a model. Engrave that into your heart. Yes, Princess Asama. A good answer. Runaway, the 7 stakes of purgatory, arise. Yes, my lady. I, Runaway, am here. Lucifer of Pride right here. Up until this point, I've been a little flashy, but, well, the dignity of the Golden Witch is also important, and about that. As Runaway laughed at Beto's uncharacteristically flustered speech, he summed it up for her. Certainly. From now on, we'll be careful to act in a graceful manner, suitable for the name of the Golden Witch. Even the 7 Sisters of Purgatory will reform their bad behaviour up until now, and we shall espouse to perform our task in the quickest possible manner. Would that be acceptable, my lady? Indeed. That's it, more or less. Everyone take it to heart. Okay? Yes. Certainly. That's all I wish to say. You may leave now. Certainly. If you would excuse me. Excuse us. So Beto, she is becoming nicer, you know. She's still got to kill as part of the curse, so whatever. But, yeah. Well, that's all I want to say. So take care as you move forward, understand? Act with dignity and restraint, okay? Give it your all. I'll be watching over you. Acting awkwardly until the very end, Beto left that message and immediately became a cloud of gold butterflies, hiding her form in the empty air. Maybe it'd be more accurate to say she vanished in a hurry because she couldn't keep up the conversation. After that, all that remained was Maria's corpse, lying down and pounded by the rain. Rosa's corpse, propped up by the fence and staring up at the sky. It's funny because Maria's normally one of the ones who lasts until the end, or has been the last two arcs, hasn't she? Because she's one of the central sort of occult sort of characters, and she encourages the idea of magic and all that sort of stuff being real by her hobby and intelligence about it. But she's died off pretty early this time. I say that, the second Twilight. And the figure of the witch. Show some restraint, you say? Her expression looked just a little bored. There was a popping sound. That was probably her clicking her tongue. What a boring person. Leaving that last sentence behind, she once again vanished into the empty air. Aha! That's a big moment in the anime as well. So good. That was only quarter of an hour. 11 o'clock next. Okay, so this has been Greeny XI. I hope you've enjoyed this part because this arc I feel is when things start to pick up a bit more. And while I've never finished the manga or anything, so I don't know how it's all going to end. In fact, I think only one or two marks I've probably read after this one. I'm really interested to see how it carries on anyway. So, thanks again for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.